is the way you start your day. And that is, and I'm sure you've had lots of people that come on the podcast and have shared this, but I know that at certain points in the day, certain experiences that I have are going to be determined by what I did first thing in the morning. If I just roll out of bed, and I'm tired and this and that, whatever, and then I try and hit the ground running, and we, at Pepperdine, we practice at 7 a.m. So it's like, there's not a lot of time. I wake up at 5, but if you could still create a time for prayer and for connection with God, to share your struggles with him, to share your dreams, to just lay it all out for him, or to live in gratitude, to write in your journal, like whatever it's going to be, like that, to me, I don't know a better way than how you start your morning. I just seen it over and over again. The days when I don't have time, quote unquote, I don't have the time, right? You've talked about excuses. I don't have the time. The days when I, quote unquote, don't have the time, the rest of my day isn't as productive. It isn't as joyful. It isn't isn't the way I want it to be, as much as if I just take a few minutes out of my day, because just saying those words, like you're talking about, putting yourself in a mindset and in a framework of gratitude and joy and abundance and love and all those things that you believe in, that is so powerful. It's so powerful. And again, I know I am not saying anything that you or your listeners have not already heard, but I just want to kind of reinforce, if anybody said that to you, if you've listened to Victoria's podcast and you've heard somebody else say that before, I am doubling down and saying how you start your day is everything, because your heart posture throughout the rest of the day changes, and you find those words that you need, you find those emotions that you need, and it's easier to do things, I get to do things versus have to do things, when I wrote down what I'm grateful for in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Oh my goodness. These are wonderful reminders. And I even call it my get to do list, not my have to do list. And I'll give you one more and I cannot for the life of me remember who said it, but I'm sorry. That's Rico. He has to make the podcast. I've had him on my lap, which is where he remains most quiet, but they just jumped down. But I heard it from Pat Flynn, who's an entrepreneur, and he's got Spy Media. He's just, I follow him, and he quoted this person. And the question that he said changed his life, talking about Pat Flynn, was this question: what if this were easy? It was that single question to ask of everything. Matter of fact, I have it on I typed that out and printed it. And so during my day, and sometimes I feel like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. And then I just like, wait a minute, what if my life were really easy? What if I'm just telling myself or convincing myself or positioning myself as if my life were really, really hard with all the things I juggle? But what if this were really easy? And that little shift in what if this were easy it lets the steam off, and suddenly it becomes more enjoyable. It's like, oh, yeah, I think I've got a busy schedule and I have to be across 3 counties all at once, in this little time frame. But what if this were really easy? And I just get in my car and I do it. And anyway, that was another one-liner that really changed my life. That I'm with you on the what I get to do, what I have to do. And then second to that was, what if this were easy? What if coaching were easy? What if doing a podcast were easy? What if climbing up that mountain were easy? And not that it doesn't come with hardships and trials and challenges, but we can so much talk ourselves into, through our self-talk and through our thoughts and what we're focusing on and what we're growing into really an icky state of being. But the good news is we can flip that. If we can talk ourselves into it, we can talk ourselves out of it and shift ourselves into a direction that is full of health and life and hope and joy, dependent ever on God and with him. So it's,
Amen. The other, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. And, going back to the golf shot. Okay. So I'll say this, if I have time.
Yes, you do.
Is that golf shot analogy, right? And how the 1 millimeter difference, and you create those 2 different outcomes. Another one that this is something I deal with a lot. So you said about, what if this were easy? What immediately stimulated my mind was something that I have to work through with a lot a lot of high performance, not just athletes, but just people that try and do life at high level is, is it the end or is it the beginning? When something happens in your life, like a level of adversity that is really difficult to overcome, asking that question, like, is it the end or is it the beginning? It changes what you look for, right? That's the 1 millimeter shift.